Okay, we're going live here shortly. Got another 5 minutes or so you get to just hang out. All right, going live shortly. Discord is live. There's a fly in here driving me nuts right now.
Experiencing the void, understanding yourself, knowing what lies beyond the natural.
Going live.
The veiled things. The mind. The universe is connected to all things. Join us as the Mudutu effect is starting.
Excuse me.
Only on SLE Radio at www.sleradio.com. Join us on Discord chat.
Good evening. Well, it's another episode. Did you realize this is my 10th episode? Wow. Oh, anyway, time flies when you're having fun. Welcome to another episode of the Mudutu Effect. Tonight I'm going to transition. It doesn't mean it's the end of the paranormal conversations, but I'm going to be transitioning into more of the occult and magics. And the reason I wanted to do this is because paranormal investigators, when they want to stage, their fake investigations and whatnot, they'll draw symbols on the walls and try to scare people because it was in a movie or something like that. Or also on the back end of that, there's some symbols that media and everybody else has sensationalized, and without even doing the homework and knowing what the history is. And of course, people follow the herd. So I'm not going to play the sheep PSA because I've got a lot of information to go through tonight. Plus, I've got music from Nytt. Their release was today. Not going to get too many of their songs in, but hopefully I can squeeze in a couple. But I want to point something out. I saw this post online one day, and it says, "What are your thoughts on the occult?" Notice I said occult. And everybody replied with cult references. So, at the end of the day, the occult and the paranormal really do go hand in hand, even though no one will actually admit it. But the word occult just means hidden, and is transitioned today meaning hidden knowledge. That's all it means, nothing more. But occult is something completely different, not to be confused with occult. Occult is kind of like the Trumpsters were, or a leader blindly often disguises as spiritual or religious. There's all kinds of different forms out there. At the end of the day, regardless of your opinion of cults, it's up to you. Do you want to empower someone else, or do you want to empower yourself? And that's what cults are. You're empowering this nut job, But at the end of the episode, we're all going to drink the Kool-Aid together, right? Okay. Sorry, I had to go there. So anyway, my objective is to talk about magics in the occult, to bring in education and symbolisms and the actions. And I know I'm not going to be able to squeeze this into a single episode. This is going to be spread out over a couple episodes. And I'm only going to be hitting on highlights. I have classes for the details here. at the Mudutu effect. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. So, and as always, I'm archiving this on video. You get to see me behind the scenes, dancing, acting like an idiot, slurping on my coffee, feet propped up. This time I'm wearing clothes. No, I didn't. No, just kidding today. But I want to bring up, I'm going to play a short clip for you. It's only a minute long. And this is my lead in. I want you to listen to this and then we'll talk about it. Mind you, this is a cleaned up version because the original is in rough shape. I have the original, but so I purchased this one because it was much cleaner. So just want to listen to it real quick.
Dedicated to him. The year of the primal force and the dawn of terrestrial birth, man mastered the mammoth and horse. Man was the lord of the earth. He made him an hollow skin from the heart of an holy tree. He compassed the earth therein, and man was the lord of the sea. He controlled the vigor of steam. He harnessed the lightning for hire. He drove the celestial team, and man was the lord of the fire. Deep mouthed from their thrones, deep-seated, the choirs of the eons declare the last of the demons defeated. For man is the lord of the air. Arise, O man, in thy strength, the kingdom is thine to inherit, till the high gods witness at length that man is the lord of his spirit.
So that was actually Aleister Crowley. And of course, it's called the Pentagram. Now, I don't know if you saw if you're listening on SLE, you see that the metadata shows him with each hand on each side of his head. That's a symbol for Pan. A lot of times, symbolism is integrated into actions or, the symbols themselves. They have a deeper meaning. So we're going to be bringing up, the pentagram. We often see these things at metal concerts, and they're in about every horror movie, None of Mankind. And like I said, paranormal investigators go out and they try to paint these on locations and say it's demonic. But surprising, it's pretty much so. It's a 5-pointed interlaced star, and it's not to be confused with a pentacle. Now, pentacle has a circle around it, and the reason, depending on the placement of the circle, but sometimes it comes inside the points and sometimes outside the points. But it depends on whether or not it's protection, if it's inward influences or outward influences. Now, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. Inside of Discord, if you're not on Discord, and I understand if you're driving or you're doing different things or whatever the case, you can't get onto Discord. But however, I like to use Discord to post pictures of what I'm talking about. So, pentagram. So the pentagram itself is pretty much so. Oddly enough, the popularity points did not come from horror movies, and it did not come from graffiti and everything else. It actually came from Pythagoras for popularity points. Surprised? The pentagram itself, a lot of gatekeeper organizations and different people like that will turn around and tell you that, well, it was all the way back in Sumeria that they used it. Yes, the pentagram is all over the world in ancient cultures. But does that mean it was a magical symbol? No. In Sumeria, the pentagram was used in cuneiform drawings to mark the corner of the room. There's nothing magical or mystical about that. It's an architectural drawing. However, they've been found in different archaeological digs all over the world, but but no one actually has a root meaning behind it. So the evolution of the pentagram happened when old scholars, and I mean for popularity points, not, you know, but under the popularity points, the evolution happened when scholars started to look at the line work in connecting us to the cosmos. Well, that just threw a monkey wrench in the whole spray painted pentagram on the wall and everything else. So each path slowly adopted this design into their own practice. But there are some commonalities within the elements and the purposes of manifestation. Once again, I want to point out that I drop pictures into Discord while I'm talking because I'm a visual person. I got to see things. So the pentagram itself, there's 5 points on it. So it represents, depending on the position of the pentagram, but it represents the elements. Now, everybody knows the elements as, earth, air, fire, water. We've all heard that chant in movies: earth, air, fire, water, earth, air. The craft. But notice I said there's 5 points on it. Let me drop this one in here into Discord. Wrong one. I just grabbed another pentagram. Wow. I need the emblem. I had all this separated, and then I closed the window, and now I'm running blindly with this. I'm going to put one up with the pentacle around it. So this is a generalized one that I have on Discord, and each point represents an element. Now, you can look at it inverted, upright. I'm not going to go through that whole discussion. Well, if it's inverted, it looks like this, and it means this. We're looking at the symbolism of the pentagram itself. Okay, symbols aren't evil. The people that define them are. So if a person is really pushing for that whole evil streak thing, just push them away. So if you notice on the picture, I've got, and also just I'll try to explain it the best way I can. There's 4 points. The lower left would be earth, and the one on the left would be air. Top would be spirit, and water on the right, and lower right would be fire. But that goes into a different concept here. I'm trying to see if, I'm going to touch on that. So here shortly. So regardless of being upwards or downwards, it is a matter of perspective. The self and development as you're focusing on. Ultimately, the 5th represents you and how you place yourself in the order of the elements. Now, I'm going to touch on the 5th. Yeah, you notice I'm trying to stay away from the word, the phrase 5th element. Multipass. The multipass. But that's usually what everybody goes to as soon as you say it, including myself. But I'm going to play a new song. It was just released today by Nytt, which is called U-Gra. And I'm going to get this one in here before we keep going into this, because like I said, there's a lot of information that I need to hit on here. So U-Gra by Nytt.
tam yurim boom se me kashing putaye boom boom se me kashing putaye num tie te te elde boom tie te te elde tie te shie nur boom se me kashing putaye boom tie te shie Hey, home sealim, yorim boil, dear cashing, put down boil, say me cashing, put diety, volunteer, she yapleve, boy, me, she yapleve,
So that was the new release from Nytt, U-Gra, um, just released today. Uh, Once again from Siberia. Uh, it's it's literally a family that creates this music independently, and I just absolutely adore them. and especially with the conversations that I've had with him. So I want to point out that I actually had to do a search while the song was playing because make sure I grabbed the right one. Holy crap. Okay, so I'm dropping into Discord a more common emblem. And then I want to go into a little bit more detail about the pentagram. The pentagram has symbols that are related to each point. Those are alchemical symbols. Now, we had this discussion before. How does alchemy play into the development of the self? Now, if you look, if you can look on Discord, you'll see a picture and it has alchemical symbols for each point for each element. Now, there's a difference on the one that I posted. And the one I originally posted had the spirit represented as a wheel, just a plain wheel. And the second one had spokes in it. Now, what I want to point out is that there's another aspect. Remember, that's the fifth element. There's another aspect to this. And the wheel of the spokes inside of it. So if you look past the representation of a wheel, forget that you're looking at, something out of Trivial Pursuit. And I want you to think about how you would find any location in any given space. You would have to determine the X, Y, and Z axis to find the center. Now look at the symbol again. So if you ever get a chance, Google it, look it up, find the symbol of the spirit, and you'll see a circle with the axis in it. And you'll see that if you remove the concept that you're looking at a wheel or a pie chart, for those you in corporate world, I'm sorry, I have to throw that out there, and change your perspective. Now look at it as a concept of finding the X and Y and Z axis of any given point. So this being the center of the universe of an X, Y, and Z axis, it's you. This is your universe. So if you was actually trace out the pentagram throughout the elements, the alchemical process of the elements, you're looking at a manifestation of yourself. That, in layman terms, it is a symbol to represent how you are connected to the basic elements around you. And it's mapped in such a way. Now, there's other aspects of the pentagram that's utilized. So whether or not it's inverted, right side up, whatnot, the formula doesn't change for the symbol itself. Now, practitioners tend to use it. There's something called the LBRP. There's a process of empowering it and sending it out. LBRP stands for Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram. But and the way you draw the pentagram is the formula. So if I'm going to do something that's oriented around Earth, I'm going to start with Earth to spirit, myself, or my higher self, and back down to fire, over to air, back to water. If I'm doing something that's oriented around water, I'll start my pentagram from water to earth, back up to spirit, fire, over to air, and that's how they're drawn. So a little tidbit of information when you're into your local store and you see the pentagram, because right now it's right at this point in time, it's no different from any other symbol. It's everywhere. Especially right before you go to a metal concert, you better get one. So before I move to the next symbol, I'm going to, I actually have on my notes 2 songs that says or next to them, the flip of the coin type thing. But because the next symbol I kind of want to get into is called the hexagram, I think I am going to play, if I can find it. I don't see it. I know it's here. Aha. It's just, I need new glasses. It wasn't the system, Jay. Calm down. It was my eyesight. So this is by Caotes, Above and Below. And I'm doing this as a lead in to the concept of the hexagram.
Little by little, youth is no longer afraid of spreading our faith. We reform, grow exponentially the practices of witchcraft. And the occult are now a worldwide movement, live in black canvas. One more word and we will be free, and never chaos allows us. A few decades of dare and daring, a few decades of trick and treat. We don't need to practice in secret. We have never lied about our dark soul. Dirty magic kicks, blood, semen, and tears. It is safe. We don't need their salvation. Do not stand in our shadow. Dirty magic kicks, blood, semen, and tears. It is safe. We don't need their salvation. Do not stand in our shadow. Dirty magic kicks, blood, semen, and tears. It is safe. We don't need their salvation. Do not stand in our shadow. We worship the goddess. We worship the devil. We worship the We worship the goddess. We worship the devil. We worship the God bless Peter Carroll. God bless Peter Gray. God bless Alistair Crowley. God bless Anton LaVey. God bless Joshua Madera. God bless Tommy Kelly. God bless Jason Roof. God bless Nicky Raider. Goddess bless Jack the Hawkins. Goddess bless Aaron Gray. Goddess bless CMG. Goddess bless IoT. Goddess bless NDC. Goddess bless Penumbra. Goddess bless Spectrum. God bless Caotes. Gods bless us all. Gods bless us all. Gods bless us all.
So that was Caotes. Quick story about Caotes. Louis Valencia, wow, um, is well-known occultist from Brazil. She currently lives with her husband in Australia. Still doing a massive amount of research for the community, and so like I said before, you're listening to music that are made by practitioners, people that are in the trenches, I guess you would say. So this next one is even more popular than the pentagram, and I'm dropping it into Discord. And it's I'm not saying it is not. I'm just saying in the magic and the occult community, it's not referenced that way. So in Discord, I just dropped in the hexagram, which is often called the Star of David. But it actually has a deeper meaning to us. Now, you remember when I mentioned about the alchemical symbols and the pentagram? Well, to us in the occult community and the practitioner community, it is a combination of all the alchemical symbols. So when they're combined together. But also, there's another aspect of it. It has planetary influences. So with that being said, there is a fly in here, and I've already had to pull my hair back because every time I thought my hair touched the side of my face, I thought it was the fly, and now it's really picking on me. So if you hear me slap the microphone out of just willy-nilly, that's what's going on. I finally lost it. So the hexagram itself, there are two types that are represented in the magical community. So just because you see the hexagram maybe being displayed somewhere, don't immediately assume it's for its religious connotations. But there are two types. One's with the triangle overlap, triangles overlapping. The other meaning behind, aside from the alchemical aspects, is it also represents as above, so below. Our actions that we do here affect us mentally, spiritually, astrally, ethereally, depending on which path you may walk. Some people just stop strictly with the mental. So it's no different than, have you ever said something to somebody and just stopped and thought maybe a couple days later or even in the moment going, I probably shouldn't have said that. That's more of the mental state. Because we work with meditation states and whatnot, we know that our actions on the physical plane could affect astral actions and vice versa. So it's a constant reminder that we're connected. So the standard hexagram, which, like I said before, gets referenced as the Star of David, is actually has another aspect to it. In the one that I posted in Discord, it shows the sun in the center. Now, this becomes a grand debate between different paths because it's the concept that Mercury should be in the center. And potato. It depends on what you're looking at. But if I can find it. So I'm bringing this next one up, which is going to lead me right into my password question. The hexagram is also drawn differently, and it's called unicursal. And I'm putting the thelemic one up into Discord, which has the rose in the center of it, but unfortunately, this has the thelemic law on it, which it's, I don't mean that unfortunately, which is fine. So now for the password phrase, I will get that tone. So get your fingers ready on Google, and if you already know it, that's great. I want to know who this person was born between. He lived between 1914 and 1952. And he was a very famous rocket engineer, but he was also a thelemic occultist. Famous rocket engineer, born between 1914 and 1952. Famous rocket engineer, and he was a thelemic occultist. So when you come up with the name, and he changed his name later, so I want his most popular name, the one he changed it to, and post it on the SLE, Mudutu Effect Radio Group, into a response to my question, and I'll send you a prize. I didn't have a winner last week, so I got to sit here and I got to finally finish that half-eaten sandwich. So yeah. So look it up. You'll be surprised at what you may find out, that this occultist, very well-known occultist, had such a very strong history, and literally changed the face of. Well, I'm going to stop there. So I don't want to give away too much. So I got 20 minutes left, and I want to get into the unicursal design. The unicursal hexagram is a constant cycle. It means that you are always in constant communication to your subconscious, your higher self. No matter how you want to translate it, to God or however, doesn't matter. In Supernatural, they used it in their on the series for the Men of Letters. I don't know, but I was just glad to see it. This is actually one of my personal favorite ones, is the unicursal hexagram. So the hexagram itself is represented in multiple different ways. The 4, 5, 6. I had to stop and count because there's so many symbols that we use. There's an nanogram, there's a septagram, there's the octagram. It just keeps going and going. But I want you to understand that each of the points is a mapping. It's primarily a mapping. Now, more for the consciousness and how you embrace yourself. Now, the different symbols get popularized in media and whatnot, but I want you to understand the background between the symbols. And so with that being said, I'm going to I'm looking at my time and I'm looking at my notes, and I just want to make sure that I'm not going to lose sight, because it's at least about the music, and there's some songs I want to cram in here. So I'm reading in Discord. Never mind. You got to be in Discord to find out what's going on. I'm not going to, like I said before, I'm not going to read the stories for you. There is a one that I just recently come across by Aemon. And what Aemon did was remember when we first started, I played the historical track of Aleister Crowley. and he took that and put it to music. So I hope you enjoy it. So that was Aemon with the pentagram. Um, I'm going through my notes, and there's a couple of things I missed on, but we're getting close. So, uh, so if you look at the pentagram and the hexagram, pentagram is more elemental based, and the hexagram is more planetary based. So when you see these symbols out and about and whatnot, and you see them in these horror movies and whatnot, now you can get a chuckle at how they used them. But I want to really quick, and I'm going to probably have to skip through my notes. Did everybody Google that yet on the that rocket engineer? So I'm not going to drop the pictures in here because they're running back and forth, and I'm trying to squeeze in time. But so there's a great deal of information out there concerning these two popular magic occult symbols. I encourage you to do your homework. Read things that you won't agree with. Reach your own conclusions. Hippie said they did their homework. I hope you post it in there because hey, I'll package it up. It'll be on its way. This is Canada Post. I can tell you when you'll actually get it. um, so, based on the small amount of information here, you can see they're not as ominous as the movies make them out to be. Um, Now, I want to touch on a symbol that is very old, and there's an assumption that it belongs to specific groups, and that is the cross. Dun, dun, dun. The cross predates Christianity and is known all over the world in many different cultures. It doesn't matter which culture, they have that symbol um, meaning different things. Originally designed equilateral, this symbol has several interpretations, depending on the cultures and beliefs and structures around the world, as well how the lines join together. It changes the meanings. Um, Jay said Canada Post to UK 6 years and 8 months. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of mold on that old sandwich I sent you. There are also the ones with the circle around it. And once again, the symbolism changes. If the lines crossed or protruding past a circle barrier versus keeping the lines inside the circle. An example of this concept would be the Gunningagat, all the way, which is the void in Norse beliefs, all the way to the Celtic cross, which originally was designed equilateral, or all the way down to the alchemical aspects. So, like the other two symbols, do not assume they all mean the same. So, if you see a cross, doesn't necessarily mean it is for Christianity. It predates many, many, many years before that. And it definitely doesn't mean the same thing. So, in the placement of the lines, in some paths, so if the line is equilateral, it represents balance. And these particular paths that I'm referring to, if the line is sitting above, it means masculine. It is sitting lower, means feminine. Now, if you look at the sigil, just look it up on Google. You look at the sigil for Lilith, you'll see the planetary influence, which is Saturn, and the cross that's in the center is all the way to the bottom. The line work is, meaning the feminine aspect. So I didn't want to say evil or good. I said masculine or feminine. So these are all aspects of who we are, how we exist. The placement is irrelevant as far as the perception. The perception, okay, you look at one of these, the cross, the inverted cross, immediately somebody says, you're evil. Okay, well, I mean, the Pope has an inverted cross on the back of his chair, but that has a different reasoning behind it, completely different reasoning. If you look at these different aspects and different paths, don't be so quick to judge a symbol as being good and evil. And I'll get on that shortly, which is a big pet peeve of mine. So oh my gosh, I'm looking at the paragraphs I typed up. Okay, but I'm going to squeeze in one last song and off the new release from Nytt. And this is a kind of a chill song that I want to bring you down so you can, get some rest tonight. I know it's late. So, and I thank you so much for staying up late, or if it's during the day, maybe calm me down before you get out in traffic. or calm you down after you dealt with traffic. I don't know. Either way, we're trying to find it. It is not. This one's legitimately not showing up. Um, I had planned this so well. Best laid plans of mice. You know, if you've ever read A Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you know I have to stop it there. Um, well, it is not in here. So, hmm, I'm nope, 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 nope. Okay, so, and I went through all these earlier today. Okay, so this one is another one, Jay. Um, so instead, I'm going to have to substitute a different one from Atlanta, and I'm going to play Blood of the North, which is also off of the new release Ritual, Nytt from Siberia, Russia. So I only have 2 minutes left. Just real quick. I know I felt like this is a cheesy geometry class, but in magics and the occult, symbols mean a great deal. And of course, we cringe when we see them in movies. Symbolism is all around us, and of course, we interpret them differently. I'm just asking you take into consideration that you research your own interpretations, but do not make everything evil and dark, because any ignorant person can do that and build on their own fears. Never let fears get in the way of learning more about the world around you. Once you become more aware, you will learn that those who were instilling fear in you were just trying to control you. So, with that being said, yeah, I've got so much more we're going to be going through going forward, but this is just the tip of the iceberg, and I'll try not to make it so much of a geometry class, but symbols are very important. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. And this has been the Mudutu effect. And we are, wow, I am glowing. That screen is so bright. Hold on. Let's make it a little bit darker. Oh, better. Okay, thank you for tuning in. I'm just replying to some comments on Discord, and I encourage you to get on Discord. Next week, we switch to Saturday at 10 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. here in Saskatchewan. So make sure you change your calendar and appropriately. Thank you all. Good night.